I'd now like to welcome Mr. Oumar Sylla. Hello, Oumar. How are you?
Good morning, Kesia from Dakar. How are you?
Lovely to see you there in Dakar, and greetings from Kigali, which is where we are.
Of course, definitely would like to be there.
Great. So Oumar Sylla is the acting director for the Regional Office for Africa for UN Habitat. And we're very excited to hear from you today about the housing compact that you're developing. So please, over to you. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much, Kesia. First of all, let me congratulate you for this well-organized and timely event, on the frontier in affordable housing in Africa. And this great job, I think, should be acknowledged why we are looking for solutions, to the issues of housing in Africa. And I think that's one reason of my presentation. And I think some point has been already raised by a colleague who was talking yesterday and today, and how we can really accelerate, the delivery of affordable housing in Africa, taking into consideration, first things is the opportunity we have really in Africa. And allow me just I want to upload my presentation. Yes, I can see it somewhere here. Hold on. Share. It's not a good one. Stop share. Hold on. Sorry for delaying with this. Check if I do this. Can you see my presentation, Kesia? Hello?
Yes, I can. If you just put it on slideshow. There we go. Beautiful.
Yeah, exactly.
There it is.
So I think the whole purpose of this presentation is to think about how best way we can have a sharing point, to bring this supply and demand in terms of affordable housing in Africa. And we know that the old question we have been discussing over years in Africa on this market housing is the how. And there's a lot of initiative going on now, and a lot of ideas, a lot of innovation. But the point now is how we can create this collaborative platform, which is integrated and look into various dimensions: policy dimension, finance dimension, capacity dimension, and even data dimension, to really accelerate, the delivery of housing, but also create an interface between local, national, and various stakeholders on this demand-driven process of affordable housing. I think this is all question that we have been thinking over the last 3 months with Shelter Africa, with African Union on Financing, Housing Financing, with UN Habitat, and we come up to these ideas of developing this housing compact for Africa as a platform to gather all those good initiatives, but also as an interface in a way that we can interact with different stakeholders in the housing market. So some element has already been, picked up from yesterday and today on the rapid trend of urbanization, and what does it mean for increased demand and need for housing sectors. Unfortunately, we can see in Africa that, the billion people we are expecting living in cities, most of them are in vulnerable situation, living in informal settlement without access to water, sanitation, but most importantly, without access to decent housing. And you can see the example of Kenya: 8% of urban households cannot afford the cheapest newly built house by private sectors. In sub-Saharan Africa overall, as we can see, the issue, pertaining to access to formal financing system. And I hear the presentation from Dominic on the mortgage system. But we know that as well, COVID has exacerbated, the issue, and we see it as an opportunity. And I think that all point that which give relevant to this, how this, new frontier in affordable housing, with the context of COVID, how we can use it as a leverage for economic development and transformation in Africa. So what does it mean, this housing compact? What we are aiming to is more about, first of all, supporting the realization of the Sustainable Development Goal through investment into the delivery of affordable housing, but also, as mentioned, it provide a regional platform that bring, international and regional actors to well-perform housing sector in Africa, but also define a common approach across stakeholders on the housing sector for the effective delivery. And lastly, foster a cooperative approach to create sustainability and build those alliances needed for the housing market. Principle one is convening, which means that bringing framework for both regional and international stakeholders to engage in the housing industry, to reflect both on challenge and opportunity, connecting, matching housing demand and supply in Africa, and look into the role of private sectors, public sectors, but also in the role of diaspora, which is an asset for Africa. I think we are not really tapped when it comes to catalyzing or promoting this housing sector, catalyzing where are the best practices and how we can amplify those best practices to respond to the need of of government, ministries, and other stakeholders. What we want to achieve through this housing compact is about improving access, to adequate, safe, and affordable housing for all, and contributing to the realization of SDG 11, but also strengthening capacity of national and local government to create an enabling environment for the provision of adequate, safe, accessible, and affordable housing, and strengthening partnership and coordination among relevant stakeholders in the housing sectors, including public, private sector, no-profit, that enable the full housing delivery. This is the framework on this housing compact. We should start with the regional one, which is the African Union Agenda 2063, the Africa we want, I think, which is transformative and looking into leverage for economic transformation of Africa. But also we have the SDGs and also the new urban agenda, which has been very bold on the need to have, equal access to adequate, safe, and affordable housing and basic services and upgrading slums. I think somebody has talked about this integrated approach of the housing market. Here are the different outcomes we are looking into and to shape this housing, compact. First of all, looking into the political momentum in Africa, we see all over Africa the demand on housing, this national program on housing. But the whole question is to increase the priority of housing within wider development agenda and fund stream more, and bringing national program articulated with the engagement of cross-sectoral approach, Ministry of Finance, Ministry of Urban Development, Ministry of Environment, and Ministry of Housing. But also one point which is really critical for Africa, and I think we touched a bit on that yesterday and today, the financing element, which is one of these hurdles we are facing in this delivery of affordable housing. And the whole question is how to think, how to bring those innovative experience that has been developed by other institutions, other stakeholders, in terms of blending financing, in terms of low informal income household, how to serve this category. And I hear the example of Real, which has been very relevant. But also another point is boosting affordable housing delivery mechanism by looking into policies, because we need to update our policy. Right now, we realize many challenges in the past in terms of the public sector engagement in the housing sector, and now we need a strong engagement of the private sectors. How to look at it, what type of regulation do we need, what type of policy do we need, but also how to reduce the time and cost of key statutory and administrative process on which housing delivery depend. And I see all this hurdle in many administrative system in Africa. So this is some stream of work we want to propose for this housing compact. First of all, look into the issue of capacity, how we can develop a technical advisory services, bringing all expertise, available, and also to provide evidence-based and action-oriented technical support to national and local government on specific housing issues. I think this forum is one of model we can build on to make sure we have all the best practices. We have people who can be deployed on real time to assess the, local government, national government to develop or to frame their policy or to develop their proposal and bankable project in this area of housing. Another one is public-private partnership mediation to match affordable housing project investment opportunity. And somebody has talked about brokering. It is really the role of brokering we need. Finding a space, point where this demand can meet with private sectors. Third point is about the capacity building on knowledge exchange. We see in the real estate sectors, a lot of weaknesses in terms of capacity, in terms of professionalism. It is good to look at those initiatives being developed by Shelter Africa, by African Development Bank, how we can boost, this capacity of this real estate development as a sector in housing, look into the value chain. And the fourth element in the data, and we really thank, the work being done by African Union on housing financing, on bringing all this data and create this repository as evidence-based, approach to delivering this affordable housing. But we can do more and to see how we can integrate those initiatives that can be accessible to all stakeholders from national to international level. What are the next steps for this housing compact? As I mentioned in the beginning of my presentation, we started this process 3 months back. The concept has been developed, but now it's more about trickle down this concept to particular and very concise activities. That the reason why I think how to go about it is about establishing the secretariat to coordinate project activities from relevant organization and interested organization. But second point is about identify country from the region to act as champion of the housing compact for Africa, and to their innovative successful approach in providing, housing solution at scale, but also to establish a multi-stakeholders task force, bringing together experts from as organization, whether they are from public sector, private sector, and not-profit, academia, civil society organization, to name a few, but also to elevate the importance of housing and long-term urban development in Africa through a well-designed campaign and communication system building on existing platform, because we see a lot of events coming next year, 2020, in Africa, will give us opportunity to leverage the value of housing in attaining sustainable urbanization or in transformative approach in Africa. We'll have AfriCities, we'll have World Urban Forum next year, we'll have others events happening, how we can take advantage. Something I want to really clarify, this housing compact doesn't mean to create something new. It doesn't create to reinvent the wheel. It's more about aggregating what already exists in terms of knowledge, in terms of innovation, and create a center for access to those information for those stakeholders need to be supported and others, which means that at the end of the day, it's more about getting contribution of actors in this industry to make sure they have something to offer, and building on comparative advantage of this institution to build this coalition and take it in the forefront of the African Union, or the forefront of different stakeholders. This is the philosophy of this housing compact. So if you want to discuss it further, feel free to contact myself. You have here my address, but also Mohamed Gambo from Shelter Africa, and we'll be happy to further discuss this concept and get to the point of concrete action, moving towards this realization of this new frontier of housing, affordable housing in Africa. Thank you very much, Kesia. This is what I want to share. Again, congratulations for this well-established scene for today and yesterday. Back to you.
Oumar, thank you so much. That is such an inspiring initiative that you're undertaking. And I know that the African Union for Housing Finance will be very keen to engage with you. Indeed, Shelter Afrique is also a member, and the CEO of Shelter Afrique is our chairman. But we look forward to engaging with you further, and also bringing in other colleagues. I could say also that CAF as well is completely on board, very excited to support you. So thanks so much for your address.
Thank you very much, Cecilia. Thank you, Cecilia. Let's keep in touch. Great. Thank you.